Hey guys, and welcome back. It is time to start throwing the turbo stuff onto this thing. So we've got this car here had the extractor on it. So we've taken the extractor off. We've got the standard manifold that these engines would have had from factory. Got that. Obviously my turbo manifold that I've made is to suit the standard manifold there. So pretty much this one here will go and bolt onto there. So we'll start fitting all that up. What I'll probably do first of all is maybe just drill out my oil drain now that I've got everything out the way there. See if I can drill at the same spot that I did on the other car. And at least the turbo drain will be done, and then we can start fitting all the turbo manifold and get the turbo sitting up in there. Now, I sort of forgot what size I bought for that fitting, so I'm just ringing this at the moment. I've got a step drill here. Step drill, I don't know why, but this sump's actually different to the one in the other car. So the position where I drilled the other one was a lot easier to get to, and it was a nice flat surface, whereas this one here, this sump's a bit different. So I'm just going to wing this at the moment and hope for the best. So this might just be like some short snippets of what I'm doing here, but it's a bit hard to do this while holding a camera and trying to do this at the same time. As you can see there, I'm just dropping stuff. Anyway, I've drilled my hole and I'm just tapping it at the moment. So pretty much what the tap's doing is just putting a thread in like a hole that you drill. So bad lighting, bad angling, nothing's working right at the moment. So that's pretty much gone through, I would think. Yeah, going in nicely. So basically, because I've just drilled out the sump here, there could be actually, the sump here is aluminium, so there could be aluminium shavings in the oil in the sump, so it's a good idea to obviously drain your oil and put fresh oil in after you do this sort of stuff, get all the metal shavings out. Obviously, if this is an engine that you really care about, don't do it this way, but these are like, you know, a few $100s to get a new engine, and I've got one sitting at the back there if I really need one. So to me, I did this on the last engine and didn't cause me any problems, so this engine's getting the same treatment. And if we go down here, so that's our hole that I just drilled out, all nicely tapped. And now pretty much I can get, where is it? Got my fitting here with a bit of RTV silicon. So pretty much the other engine when I did it, the pan actually was like just, you know, thickness of sheet metal, where this one here I've actually gone through, you know, a bit of the pan there where I've actually got a lot of thread, so a bit of RTV. I don't have to put any JB welder on this because this is actually threading in nicely, and this thread's going to hold the way that we need it. So I'll get a socket on there and tighten that up, and that's turbo drain done. So pretty much while we're doing oil drain, I may as well do oil feed. So this car doesn't have an oil leak, don't worry about it, all right? So while we've got the oil drain in, oil feed, like I said, we're going to take out the oil pressure sender, and I've got the T-piece down there. I don't know if you can see that well. We're trying to focus. It's not going to probably focus. There we go. So just going to screw that in, and that's obviously our oil feed down there. So just got to get down in there. It's really like not much room in there to try and get in, so sorry about the focusing. It's not focusing. There we go. So I just got to nip that up now, and obviously on here, that's where our line for the feed's going to go, and then our oil pressure sender's still going to go onto the end of where it originally goes. And as easy as that, as we can see down there, that brass fitting, oil drain. This line here is oil feed down to that T-piece we're talking about with the oil pressure sender on the end. See if I can get a good camera angle somewhere. Probably not. So yeah, we can see there, this is our line coming up, that top one there, that's our line coming up to feed to the turbo, and then on the end, that's the oil pressure sender plugged in. Now to get onto the fun part, we can actually start putting our manifold on with our J-pipe and start mounting our turbo in place, where it's actually just going to start looking like a turbo car. So we've got the manifold all on. What I've got to do now is just go up with the hoist, and then I can start putting my J-pipe on. So that's the J-pipe all installed. And now we can go back up top and sit the turbo on. Alright, so we've got the J-pipe sitting in there, we've got the dump pipe sitting in there. We can grab the turbo now. Alright, so I've pretty much got all the turbo mounted, dump pipes mounted, turbos onto the J-pipe, so turbo's all mounted properly. I've got the oil drain connected, oil feeds coming up here. I've just got having a couple of beers while I'm working. So just got a beer bottle. I've taken that off so I can actually just crank it over. I want to see make sure that I'm getting oil into through the line here and into the bottle. That way when I connect it up, I know the turbo's getting oil to it. So I'll just give it a few cranks and just check to see that we got oil. Alright, so pretty much everything's plumbed up. I've got oil line in now, I know that the turbo's getting oil. I've checked up here, so because this had LPG on it, it had water lines already feeding, obviously, the gas system. So I've just, used the water lines that I had, so I've got water coming in through this way and back out through that way. So we've got water to the turbo, we've got oil to the turbo, we've got drain, oil feed. So pretty much I'm gonna fire this up now, see how it runs. Obviously I don't have any intercooler piping connected. I've still got to do intercooler piping, injectors, and I'm gonna do also fuel pressure regulator. I still need to do a fuel pressure regulator on this one, obviously to run a bit more boost. But yeah, we'll fire it up and see what it goes like. So there it is, all the turbos mounted into the car and it's all plumbed up. So pretty much at the moment, or what I got to finish off, tomorrow I'll come back, I'll do the intercooler piping, mount intercooler. Injectors I'll leave out until I get the ECU back and it's ready to start tuning. Still got to order the fuel pressure regulator. So once I get all that, get it tuned up, hopefully it's going to make around 300 kilowatts and I want that to be a pretty safe tune. I haven't done head studs or anything like that, head gasket. So I want the engine to sort of last a little bit. I've still got the clutch that the car came with still in the car. It is a heavy duty clutch. It probably won't handle the power too good, but just see how long that holds up. And then obviously when that, gets to its limits, then I'll pull it out and put a decent clutch in it. But I reckon I'll just stay with a standard T5, put a decent clutch in it and it should be fine. It's not going to be daily driven or anything like that. It's just going to be a track car, so hopefully it holds up alright. So I've been working on the intercooler and intercooler piping. Pretty much what I did was just made up some brackets. If you're building a drift car and you're not using techies, you're doing it wrong. So a couple of tech screws, a couple of bolts. I've even done some brackets at the bottom. 3mm plate, and then obviously I'll start at the top here. So like I said, I got a donut, cut that donut in half. That started my, U shape to come down. Just a couple of straight silicone joiners through there. 45 silicone joiner, another 45 to go down. straight silicone joiner there. So that 45 comes down obviously, and then we've got a 90 to go into intercooler. And then when we come around this side, got another 90, 45 bend there, and then just a straight to go straight up to the turbo with a, I think that's a 45 as well, to go into that pipe and then into the turbo. So that's how I've done my intercooler piping. I'll bring you down here. The way, there's not much room to actually, you know, cut and do what you need to do up the top. So I've just made a big hole through there and obviously just, you know, linged it around a little bit. That's not finished off. I'll still finish it off a little bit neater, but yeah, it's pretty tight up here. There's a lot of like lines and stuff in the way to try and get that intercooler pipe through. So that's just a quick, easy way of doing it. You know, this is a drift car, so I'm not too fussy about it. And then I just drilled a hole through that part there so I can get the intercooler pipe through. So simple way of doing intercooler pipe, you know, no welding involved, quick, easy and simple to do. So the car's up on the hoist. I've got my front bumper bar on with my intercooler. Bit of a stealth look, this one. I wanted to go chrome, but Outlaw Speed Shop didn't have one in chrome. And then I've just sort of welded up an exhaust. It had a catback system on it before, so a lot of this is just, you know, the original catback. I just did a join up here to meet up to my dump pipe, welded in the muffler to it, and then pretty much stock, you know, over the diff to the tailpipe. So about to start it up and see how it sounds. I couldn't help myself but take it for a quick spin. As you guys know, the clutch isn't the best in this, so I'm not going to hammer it. I've still got the stock ECU with an upgraded fuel pump and stock injectors, stuff like that, so the tune's going to probably be pretty far out from where it should be. It is running and driving fine on low RPM, but obviously the higher the RPM goes, it'll probably start fuel cutting and doing some funny shit. So it's just going to be a quick little spin around the block. Definitely pulls hard, and that was like, I reckon I didn't even go over like $3.5 grand. Started spooling up pretty quick, and it's got a nice turbo flutter to it, as we call it here in Australia. We call it a dose. So you get a turbo upgrade on your car and you want to put a pipe on it to make it dose. See if you guys can hear the dose. So up to I just got up to 4 grand, 4,000 RPM there, and didn't have any fuel cutting issues or anything like that. But I think if I push it any harder, it'll start fuel cutting and doing some funny stuff. So probably stop there, and pretty much just got to wait for the ECU to come back from Microtech. Then I can get it wired in and obviously retuned. Once I get the ECU, I can throw my injectors in there, my 1000 CNC injectors. I've got to still order my fuel pressure regulator to be able to get some more fuel, obviously, to the engine and tune it up properly. to the ECU, and hopefully we'll make around 300 kilowatts in this thing, which would be perfect for the track. Alright guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.